The originally open Dragon Country suddenly announced it was closing its borders and halting all ongoing infrastructure projects to devote all national resources to building 34 steel cities. At the same time, it urgently conscripted 8 million troops. The entire military was placed under martial law and entered level 1 combat readiness. Such drastic actions made Western countries extremely nervous, but they couldn't figure out Dragon Country's real intentions. They could only protest while launching public opinion attacks. For a while, the people of Dragon Country have gone crazy, became the only hot topic on Blue Planet. But facing external doubts and obstruction, Dragon Country abandoned its usual friendly attitude and directly took drastic measures to eliminate all obstacles. This was all because Dragon Country suddenly learned that the Myth era would arrive in 1 week, when countless gods and demons from other worlds would invade Blue Planet. And this shocking message actually came from a text message on your phone. The message clearly read, "User with phone number ending in 8848. Congratulations on obtaining the only closed beta access. Before the Myth era arrives on Blue Planet, first recharge of 648 gets you a legendary class." For this kind of spam message, you were about to delete it without a second thought. But the next second, your phone was out of control, downloading and opening a game on its own. You pressed the screen until your fingers almost went numb, but there was no response at all. Did it get a virus? Just when you were about to restart your phone, suddenly a grand, majestic soundtrack played from your phone. Then all kinds of rare and exotic beasts appeared in front of you. The incredibly realistic and beautiful visuals left you stunned on the spot. Just when you were thinking this game is way better than World of Warcraft, another notification popped up on your phone. Dear closed beta player, congratulations, you have activated your closed beta qualification. This game is naturally generated by the heavenly Tao consciousness of the Myth era. It is a glimmer of hope, given by the heavenly Tao consciousness to all living beings on Blue Planet. Please note that the Myth era will arrive in 1 week. Closed beta qualifications will be revoked after 7 days, and the game will be shut down completely. The abilities of your in-game character will be 100% transferred to your real self, but for the first 6 days, you can only get 10% of your character's base attributes transferred each day. Full transfer will only happen at midnight on the 7th day. These consecutive notifications made your face twist with confusion and shock. Is this game actually real? You had nothing better to do anyway, so you decided to try playing the game. The game's setting is basically exotic beasts invading and humans awakening classes to fight against them. Classes are roughly divided into 3 categories: combat, life, and support. Ranked from lowest to highest, they are common, advanced, rare, legendary, and finally mythical classes. Besides that, there are also some unique hidden classes. But when you finished reading the intro and went back to the interface, you suddenly found your game character was already created automatically, and it was modeled after your own appearance and name. This made you even more convinced the game was real. You checked the time. It was exactly 7 p.m. Whether it's real or not, we'll know for sure in a few hours, right? So you followed the guide and opened the in-game class draw pool, getting ready to draw a class. This benefit is only for closed beta players. People in the real world can only awaken classes with awakening stones. And once you choose a class, it stays with you for your entire life. After reading the notes, you obviously became a lot more cautious. The first draw from the class pool is free. Subsequent draws require myth coins or purchase gift packs. You immediately clicked the free draw. You can keep drawing as long as you don't bind the class anyway, which gives you unlimited options. Congratulations, you have drawn the common class farmer. This is a life class. Once activated, you will have extremely high talent for growing crops. You smiled faintly at this. Sure enough, free stuff is always garbage. Fine then. I'll spend a little money this time. You immediately checked the in-game store. There were over a dozen class draw gift packs available, priced at $68, $98, $128, $328, and $648. You did the math. These packs add up to around 500 draw chances. The premium packs also include level experience pills, following the rule that spending a little won't hurt. You first bought 8 of the 68 packs. That adds up to 70 draw chances total. But 2.5 minutes later, you finally felt the game's nasty side. A whole 70 draws, and you only got 2 rare classes, both of which were life classes. You gritted your teeth and bought 3 more of the 128 packs, then ran to the bathroom to wash your hands before drawing again. That's 80 draws this time. And you only got 1 legendary class, which was a healer. You were shaking with anger at this drop rate. But just when you had lost all hope, Suddenly, an epic, distinctive background music cuts in out of nowhere. The game screen is glowing with blinding golden light. All kinds of strange visions pop up one after another. Your whole body jolts in shock. You actually got a gold drop from the last few pulls. Congratulations, you obtained the Mythic class, Hero Summoner, Combat class. A class that can summon deceased heroes to fight alongside you. You can summon one more hero every 10 levels you gain. You read the introduction of the Hero Summoner class. Your expression keeps changing back and forth. After a long moment, you grit your teeth and tap the draw button again. Though Mythic classes are the highest tier available, regular people can also awaken them. You are the only person on Blue Star. That is closed beta access. If you only bind a regular Mythic class, that feels kinda lame, doesn't it? At the very least, you need a unique hidden class. It's just spending some cash on the game, right? I can totally afford that. With that thought, you grit your teeth again and buy every single gacha pack available. Then you start pulling like a total maniac. Maybe the universe saw how sincere you were. Suddenly, a flurry of iridescent sword shadows fill your entire field of vision. Congratulations, you pulled the hidden class, Chaos Swordmaster. Combat class. You gain Chaos Sword Physique once you bind this class. Earn double EXP from killing exotic beasts. You can awaken all types of swordsmanship skills. All swordsmanship skill effects are boosted by 100%. All class talent effects are boosted by 100%. You look at this description, your whole body relaxes instantly. You finally pulled a good one for yourself. You have no idea if there are any other hidden classes stronger than Chaos Swordmaster, but your wallet is already completely empty. Plus, you only have about 10 pulls left. You don't think someone as unlucky as you can pull anything better than this, so you choose to bind the class right away. Dear esteemed closed beta player Chen Xuan, congratulations on becoming a Chaos Swordmaster. You have obtained Chaos Sword Physique and awakened the space-type sword skill, Sky Vault Sword Slash. You look at the notifications on your phone. You can't help but feel ecstatic. You finally got super lucky for once. The first time you awakened skills, you got a super powerful space-type one. Right after that, you immediately use all the EXP pills that came with the gift packs. Your character, which was only level 1 before, jumps to level 40. A moment later, the class panel pops up. Name Chen Xuan. Class Chaos Swordmaster, level 40. Strength, 1276. Constitution, 1767. Mentality, 2852. Equipment, none. Class skills, Space type Sky Vault Sword Slash. Ice type, Freeze over all lands. Lightning type, Sword God Thunder. Dark type, Dark Realm Annihilation. Class talents will unlock at level 50. You nod in satisfaction after seeing this. After all, the maximum strength, Constitution and mentality for regular people is only 10. But right then, your stomach starts growling like crazy. You check the time. It's almost 8 p.m. Then you set your character to farm EXP in dungeons and go make yourself something to eat. You're super anxious and on edge right now because in the past hour alone, you've spent almost 9,000 yen on the game. For an average worker who only makes 4,000 yen a month, that's way more than you can afford to spend. So you don't dare to put any more money into it. If this whole thing is a scam, you'll end up sleeping on the streets. You have no idea if when it hits 12 a.m., the so-called power sink will actually happen to you. There's no point in stressing out about it. Your game character is auto-farming dungeons anyway. You got nothing else to do right now. So you pick up your phone again and go through the game rules carefully. The class tier system of Myth-era is roughly divided into base 100 levels King Realm, True King, Legend, Saint Lord, and Mythic Monarch. Above Mythic Monarch, there's also Star Emperor, but this tier is grayed out. You can't view any details about it at all. Other than that, there are tons of different gift packs in the game. The price of some of these packs is way beyond what you could ever imagine. For example, one premium luxury gift pack only has one single item inside, which is an awakening stone that lets you awaken early. It costs a whopping 1 billion yuan. If the Myth-era arrival is real, this price isn't actually that expensive. After all the big shots would line up for it and still can't get one. Then you click open nearly every single gift pack to check their detailed descriptions one by one. Some of the items make you drool so bad, but their prices make you instantly back off. All the money you've saved up through hard work isn't even enough to cover the smallest fraction of these pack prices. After you finish checking all the mall gift packs, you also check out the exotic beast compendium. It might not include every single type of beast, but it does cover most of the relevant info. Some of the exotic beasts are even reach the Mythic Monarch tier. Their abilities are even weirder and more unpredictable. It's like a zoo straight out of the classic of mountains and seas. With a nervous and uneasy heart, I finally made it to 12 a.m. sharp. When the phone's time showed 6 zeros in a row, a voice came from inside the phone. Dear closed beta player Chen Xuan, congratulations on reaching level 45 on the first day. Your real body will get a basic stat boost in return. Keep in mind that game characters now have thousands of stat points. Even 10% of that is hundreds of stat points. Compare that to ordinary people who only have 10 points in each of the 3 core stats. These stats are already enough to make you basically invincible on the blue planet. Suddenly the whole room was filled with bright, sparkling light. Countless golden specks of light appeared out of thin air. Then they flooded into your body like a torrent. The rush of pleasure almost made you moan out loud. And you could feel that the cells inside your body were getting more and more energized little by little. A strong sense of power welled up inside you. Even your originally dull yellow skin became fair and smooth. Right now, you can clearly feel that you've gotten really strong. But how strong exactly? You don't really have a clear idea about that. With that thought, you got up and went to the kitchen. You picked up a fruit knife and stabbed it at your thigh. As expected, it was the fruit knife that broke. Holy crap, I hit the jackpot. This is only the first day. The stat feedback is already this insane. How strong would I be if I got the full feedback? Then all the kitchen utensils suffered at your hands. The stainless steel pot was crumpled into a ball. The kitchen knife was snapped in half with 2 of your fingers. Even the steel wool scrubber was twisted into fine threads with 1 squeeze. After testing for a long time, your excited mood finally calmed down. The only thing for sure now is that the apocalypse is real. Even though the arriving Mythic era might be an opportunity for humans to gain extraordinary powers, it will definitely be a huge disaster at the very beginning. Caught off guard. Even major powers with nuclear weapons will suffer heavy losses. Not to mention whether nuclear weapons can even hurt those powerful exotic beasts. Just the aftermath caused by them alone is more than the blue planet can handle. Now that I have this power, how can I just stand by and watch Huaxia suffer? Besides, if I get help from the country, the progress I can make in this 1 week will definitely be beyond imagination. I don't think that just by scraping together online loans I can get strong enough. I was so excited I didn't sleep all night. The next morning, I went to find someone. She used to be one of my real estate clients, and she's the director of the Tianhai City Government Office. It's said that this woman has very powerful connections behind her. That's exactly why I chose to contact her. After all, I'm not a reborn person. I don't know all the events that happened in the previous timeline. I can only go through the forces behind her and maybe get in touch with the higher-ups for cooperation. But when I told her what happened yesterday, Lin Tong looked completely disdainful. Does this guy have a death wish? How dare he mess with a public official? Did he fry his brain or something? She immediately called security to drag you out. You weren't surprised at all. Anyone who heard what you said would react the same way. Director Lin, I can prove what I said is true. Fine, I'll give you 1 chance to prove it. Lin Tong leaned back in her office chair with her arms crossed, looking at you indifferently. You glanced around the office, then walked over to the solid wood desk beside you. Then you looked straight at Lin Tong and said calmly, "This is the power I obtained." Before the words left your mouth, there was a loud bang. You slapped the solid wood desk with your palm. In an instant, the whole desk turned into fine powder. Seeming to think that wasn't enough to prove yourself, you set your sights on the safe in the corner. Then you strode over and threw a punch. The safe got a huge dent in it. If I wasn't afraid of causing too much commotion, I could have smashed the whole wall down. Lin Tong's beautiful eyes narrowed sharply at this moment. A look of shock appeared on her stunningly beautiful face. With her powerful connections, she knew that there are ancient martial artists in this world. She's even seen those highly skilled martial artists in person. They can easily take on a dozen ordinary people, but none of them are even close to my level. Seeing that she didn't say anything, you thought she still had doubts. You walked right up to her immediately. I can't use my full power in this office. The power I control is way stronger than what I just showed. After hearing what I said, Lin Tong's chest rose and fell rapidly. The power you showed just now was already shocking enough, and that power isn't even your full strength. Wait, if Chen Xuan can control such terrifying power, that means the Mythic era invasion he mentioned is also real. After she realized this, Lin Tong's face was full of shock and confusion. Fine, even if I believe what you said, what's your purpose of coming here this time? My plan is to cooperate with the country, though we only have 1 week. But if we mobilize the entire nation's resources, 1 week is enough to get a lot done. Lin Tong frowned slightly at that. He pondered for a long time. Eventually, he picked up the phone on the desk and made a call, though he had no idea what his grandpa's real identity was, but for such a critical matter, it's always right to reach out to his mysterious grandpa. After he finished reporting the situation, Lin Tong handed the phone to you. A very energetic old man's voice came from the other end. Hello there, young friend Chen. Is what you said true? Absolutely true. Besides the changes on my end, I have other ways to prove it, but I need help from the country. Other than Tong. Have you told anyone else about this? No, I came over first thing in the morning. Lin Tong is the first person I told. Please wait a moment, young friend. I'll send someone to pick you up right away. After hanging up the phone, Lin Xiong on the other end looked very serious. He's almost 70 years old. This is the craziest thing he's ever heard. But this concerns national interests. Even if there's only a tiny possibility it's true, we can't just ignore it. If his negligence causes the situation to become irreversible, he'll be a sinner of the country. Thinking of this, he immediately yelled to his assistant, "Prepare the car, I'm going to meet the superior." Meanwhile, you were waiting in the office. You had nothing to do anyway. So you opened the game again. Your character's level had already reached 50. A new notification popped up. Congratulations, player Chen Xuan, your profession level has reached 50. The talent draw pool has been unlocked for you. You can draw talents randomly. Before you reach the King Realm, your profession can equip up to 5 talents. The binding is permanent once confirmed. Also, profession skill development is now available. The Parasol Tree Danger Zone dungeon is unlocked at the same time. Clearing the Parasol Tree Danger Zone will reward you with skill scrolls. Of course, you can also buy scroll gift packs in the game store. Looking at the notification on the screen, golden light flashed in your eyes. You excitedly opened the game store right away. But when you saw the prices, your face immediately fell. Even the cheapest talent draw gift pack costs 300,000. The advanced ones cost as much as 1 million. If you could, you'd totally file a complaint right now. The savings you worked so hard to accumulate, it's already bad enough you can't afford a house. Now you can't even afford a basic talent draw gift pack. The skill scrolls are even more ridiculous. Even the lowest level white scroll costs 1 million. You didn't even dare click to check the higher level ones. Just when you were complaining about being broke, there was a knock on the door. Then around 10 soldiers in uniform walked in with big strides. They came up to you and saluted. Mr. Chen, please come with us. And Director Lin, too. We need you to come with us as well, sir. You stood up and returned the salute. You walked outside without any hesitation. When you got to the hallway, there were around 20 more soldiers standing there. All of them were fully armed. You thought this was already a huge arrangement. But when you went downstairs, you realized you had underestimated it. How seriously the country was taking this matter. More than 10 armored vehicles were parked neatly in front of the building. 2 WZ-10 attack helicopters were circling low in the sky. Even the surrounding streets were already closed off for traffic control. Seeing how much attention the country was paying to this, you started to get a little cold feet. After all, no one knows what that mythical era is actually like, plus time is really tight. Even if we mobilize the entire nation's resources, we might not be able to protect everyone. How big of a disaster will it cause then? The moment you got in the car, you started planning how to prevent and resist the coming era. Just a few days ago, you were still an ordinary office worker. Now you're worrying about national affairs. Fate is really such a funny thing. You thought about this the whole ride. About an hour later, the car stopped. A burly middle-aged man with epaulet stars walked right up to you. Mr. Chen, I'm Lin Jianya, commander of the Dongfeng military region. Let's cut to the chase. We need you to cooperate with some tests. To verify what you told us, you didn't mind this at all. After all, this is such a major issue. No one would just take your word for it. Then Lin Jianya took you to a large hall. All kinds of testing equipment had already been set up inside. There were also dozens of research experts there. Lin Jianya handed the non-disclosure agreements to all the senior officials and spoke after they finished signing. Mr. Chen, this is Ye Sheng, academician of the Dragon Kingdom Academy of Sciences. He will be in charge of running tests on you next. After a few polite exchanges, Ye Sheng in a white lab coat pointed not far away at a steel dummy and said to you, Mr. Chen, please hit that dummy with all your strength. You nodded and walked straight up to the dummy. At that moment, everyone present held their breath and stared at you intently. Even the top officials of the Dragon Kingdom in the capital were quietly watching the live stream. Suddenly, there was a loud bang. After the deafening roar faded, everyone looked over carefully, only to find you had smashed the dummy into pieces and even left a huge crater in the wall behind it. It wasn't until this moment that the spirit boy realized the punch you used to break his table earlier was way more restrained than he thought. How's the data? Yesheng, who just reacted, asked quickly. Base strength is over 5 tons. Just that one sentence left everyone silent. You're not even human! This exact same thought popped up in everyone's mind at the same time. Everyone present was a person of high status, and they all knew about Gu warriors. As far as they knew, even the top-tier Gu warriors would never have base strength over 1 ton. Besides, these Gu warriors are extremely rare. Every single one is registered with the government. The test lasted for a full hour. After that, you were escorted by Lin Jianye to an office to rest. Only you and Lin Jianye were in the office. He immediately took out an encrypted laptop and handed it over to you. Mr. Chen, the commanders would like to speak with you. Your expression turned serious when you heard that, and quickly straightened your clothes. The call connected. On the screen were several elderly men that you often see on national television. You were extremely excited to see this, and quickly stood up to salute. Greetings, commanders. Commander number 1 smiled kindly. Hello, Comrade Chen Xuan. Don't be nervous. Can you tell us the situation in detail? You sat down slowly and told them everything that had happened. A moment later, shocked exclamations rang out again. Even Lin Jianye, who had witnessed your terrifying strength in person, had his pupils shrink sharply. Are you saying the power you have now is only 10% of your base stat? Yes, over the past week. I get 10% of my full stats every single day. All the commanders looked a little solemn after hearing this. Commander number 1 asked again, Comrade Chen Xuan, we heard you have other ways to prove this incident. In the eyes of these national leaders, the power you've shown is already enough to prove this. But since this concerns the future of the whole country, they have to be extremely careful. To put it another way, they need you to come up with more concrete evidence to convince them. After all, once they make a decision, the entire country will, within just a few days, undergo completely earth-shaking changes. The financial resources required and losses to be sustained are immeasurable. Seeing this, you understood what the higher-ups were thinking, so you opened up the in-game store. Respected commanders, there are indeed things in the game that can prove this. It's just that the gift pack is a bit expensive. You couldn't help scratching your head when you said this. Haha, seeing how awkward you looked. All the commanders laughed, and the tense, solemn atmosphere seemed to ease a lot. Jianye, Comrade Chen Xuan trusts the country. The country can't let him down. Go handle it. Yes, Commander. Lin Jianye nodded gently, and immediately picked up his phone to make a call. He didn't even ask for your bank card number. You knew full well that the government already had all your details on record. Right now, Lin Jianye probably knows more about you than you know yourself. It didn't take long for 10 million RMB to be transferred to your bank account. You didn't waste any time either, and directly clicked to buy the gift pack you'd already selected in the game ages ago. Suddenly, there was a low humming sound. The void in front of you suddenly twisted violently. Right after that, an exquisite, ancient-style, sharp sword appeared out of nowhere in front of you. This made Lin Jianye nearby have his pupils shrink sharply. At this distance, if you wanted to attack him, he wouldn't even have time to scream. Compared to Lin Jianye's wariness, the commanders were even more shocked at the sword that appeared out of thin air. You also hurriedly explained, this is equipment from the game. It's a spirit tier weapon for levels 51 to 70. It's extremely sharp. Ordinary bulletproof armor probably can't withstand a single strike from it. You've never used this type of weapon before, actually, so your description was pretty conservative. After hearing this, the commanders were shocked and immediately ended the call to discuss the matter.
If what you showed earlier
Still gave them some scruples. Then the way this sharp sword appeared is enough to make them make up their minds. The call was hung up. You finally relaxed as well, even though you've become a transcendent now. When facing these senior elders, you still felt enormous pressure. Who isn't nervous chatting with national commanders for the first time anyway? Taking advantage of this break, you picked up your phone and opened the game interface again. Before coming to Dongfeng Military Region, you had already controlled your character to enter the Wutong Chess Path Dungeon for trials. During this period, your level has already been raised to level 52. You leveled up twice in just over an hour. It seems the Wutong Chess Path Dungeon gives way more experience than ordinary dungeons. No one knows after the Myth era descends what form real-life dungeons will take. Half an hour later, the video call connected again. All the commanders looked very serious. Commander number 1 was staring straight at you. Comrade Chen Xuan, after discussion at the meeting, the country will establish the Myth Special Bureau, directly under the jurisdiction of Longuo Cabinet. You will serve as the director. Comrade Lin Jianye will serve as deputy director. The Myth Special Bureau headquarters is temporarily set in Dongfeng Base. After you discuss with Comrade Lin Jianye, please draw up a charter and submit it. In addition, the first order of the Myth Special Bureau is issued. Within the next week, all parties will make way for the Myth Special Bureau to prepare for the arrival of the Myth Era, and your top priority in the next few days is to raise your in-game profession level as much as possible. All required funds will be fully provided by the National Treasury. Listening to the voice from the computer, you were completely stunned. You just wanted to get the country's support to improve your own strength and inform the country of the Myth Era's arrival by the way. How did I suddenly become a bureau chief out of nowhere? This concerns the entire future of Longguo. Such a heavy burden, let alone you as a small employee. Anyone else would be totally confused too. Seeing that I had concerns, the commander said again in a firm tone, Comrade Chen Xuan, you don't need to belittle yourself. You got the only closed beta qualification on Blue Planet, which already proves you are extraordinary. The country trusts you. You should trust yourself too. These two words warmed your heart. A surge of hot blood rose in your body for no reason. Yes, Commander. I will do my best to fight for Longguo. Seeing you so confident, several commanders also showed appreciative looks. The video call was hung up. Lin Jianye, who quickly got into his role, asked you directly, Director, the commander asked us to draw up the plan. Time is really tight. Hearing that, you pondered for a moment. After sorting out the scattered thoughts you'd been thinking all the way, you said slowly, As far as I know, after the Myth Era descends, there will be exotic beast invasions at the beginning. But as long as we withstand this first wave of beast hordes, we will get a short period of development time. Besides, after the Myth Era descends, spiritual energy from the myth world will flood into Blue Planet. All plants and animals on Blue Planet may mutate. Lin Jianye frowned tightly. The situation is far more severe than he imagined. According to what you said, Longguo not only has to guard against exotic beasts from the Myth Era, but also against mutated plants and animals on Blue Planet itself. Yes, I already thought about this on my way here. The plan has been initially drafted. First, we need to recruit soldiers on a large scale to resist the arrival of the Myth Era. This is not a short-term battle. Our Longguo needs a constant supply of soldiers. Second, recall all overseas Chinese who love Longguo. As for those who prefer breathing foreign air, there's no need to force them to return. 2 days before the Myth Era descends, Longguo must close its borders. Third, take all provincial capital cities as strongholds. Surround big cities with small towns, and build 34 prevention bases. Then transfer all the population into the defense zones. At the same time, station 200,000 troops in each defense zone. We also need to build spiritual energy testing centers to detect the locations of all kinds of exotic beasts as much as possible. Fourth, gather top scientists. Go all out to research and develop highly lethal weapons. Although thermal weapons don't work well on high-level exotic beasts, they are still very useful for dealing with large-scale, low-level beast hordes. Fifth, to deal with social unrest caused by the sudden arrival of the Myth Era. We need to use media and networks to guide the public and try our best to reassure the people that the country will support them through the apocalypse. As soon as you finished speaking, Lin Jianye looked extremely surprised. In such a short time, you could come up with such a detailed plan. Although there are slight flaws, it's already very impressive. Your plan, Director. I'll gather the relevant people for a discussion right now. Right after he spoke, Lin Jianye seemed to think of something else. Director, how much startup funding do you need right now? You smiled slightly when you heard that. Since we've got the entire country backing us up, we need to think really big, no holding back. There's no way I'm being polite about this. Let's start with 10 billion for a little in-game top-up first. Lin Jianye wasn't even that surprised. After all, right now you're basically the national treasure of the entire Dragon Kingdom. He immediately made another call. About 10 minutes later, you looked at your phone and saw a string of zeros so long it barely fit in the text message. Your heart started pounding uncontrollably. It's just 10 billion. Why the hell are my legs shaking? Stop it. Director, I'm going to gather the experts to discuss the plan right now. Do you want to come with me? No, I'd better not show up for now. You're fully in charge of all this, compared to dealing with people. I still like the feeling of spending on in-game items way more. After Lin Jianye left, you pulled out your phone again and started splurging like a woman on a shopping spree. Looking at the gift pack prices that were totally out of reach just an hour ago, you chuckled softly. Talent Draw gift pack? Buy. Skill Scroll gift pack? Buy. Right now, all kinds of talents were displayed in front of you, like top courtesans on show. But you just glanced over all of them. Any talent lower than legendary quality, you didn't even bother paying attention. After a full 100 draws, your eyes lit up drastically. You stared hard at the mythic quality talent that popped up on the screen. Sword Heart Clarity. Top-tier mythic quality sword art talent. It can predict any danger coming for you in advance. This is such a great life-saving item. You didn't hesitate at all, and chose to bind it right away. After half an hour of insanely reckless spending, you finally picked out 5 top-tier mythic talents. Chaos Sword Domain can integrate all types of sword arts, and you can comprehend its powers on your own. Earth Dragon Overlord Physique. By absorbing the blood and energy of exotic beasts, you can strengthen your own body. Once it reaches perfect level, you can achieve sainthood with just your physical body. Blazing Flame Furnace can convert exotic beasts and refine them into life crystals. Life crystals can boost your own strength or other people's strength. Ecliptic Nirvana, top-tier passive talent. When the bound user faces a life or death crisis, Nirvana triggers, and you can be reborn. With these 5 talents, you're practically an all-round invincible warrior. Offense, you've got the Chaos Sword Physique. Defense, you've got the Earth Dragon Overlord Physique. And if you run into danger, you've got Ecliptic Nirvana. On top of that, you've got the entire country backing you up. How can you even lose at this point? Too bad all 5 talents are still at the beginner stage right now. To level them up, you have to comprehend and practice them yourself. You can't level them up using in-game gift packs. Next, you bought all the Professional Skill Scroll gift packs. After all, professional skills have rank tiers too, which are Mortal, Mystic, Spirit, and Emperor tiers. When you first awaken a professional skill, even if it's mythic quality, it starts at Mortal tier. To level it up, you usually have to rely on your own comprehension of the skill. Except you, of course, you cheating bastard. You directly upgraded all 5 of your main professional skills to Spirit tier. After you got all that done, you controlled your character to grind the Wutong Dangerous Realm dungeon, while you kept browsing the in-game shop. Too bad there's a daily purchase limit on EXP pills. Otherwise, you'd definitely grind your level up to 100 first. After you've armed yourself to the teeth, you finally remembered your teammates. After all, once the mythic beings descend, no matter how strong you are, you can't be everywhere at once. Raising a reliable team is the right long-term plan. So the awakening stones that can be obtained early from the shop are definitely a must-buy. You took a look. This gift pack only respawns 3 times a day. Each one contains 1 awakening stone. Each awakening stone can let 100 people awaken a professional skill, but just awakening a professional skill doesn't help that much. After all, a level 1 professional is only a tiny bit stronger than a regular person. They're still like ants in front of exotic beasts. While you were browsing the in-game shop, the entire Dongfeng base also sprang into action. Lin Jianye gathered a bunch of research experts in a very short amount of time. They discussed the plan you outlined, added improvements, then brought it to your office for you to check. After that, they even submitted it to the cabinet. Right now, Lin Jianye is handing you a stack of red documents. Director, the cabinet approved the plan. You nodded slightly. Since time is tight, the top priority is to implement the safe zone plan first. Hold a representative conference for all industries immediately, especially the construction industry. And don't tell them the real situation. To avoid causing panic, just issue the central government order directly. At the same time, start conscription right away. Recall overseas Chinese citizens, develop more powerful weapons, and pre-release related talking points online and so on. All these operations must be carried out simultaneously. Time waits for no one. Next, right outside the Capitol Assembly Hall, people from all walks of life who received the urgent notice. All representatives dropped everything they were working on. Even representatives from faraway regions were picked up directly by military planes dispatched by the military. All of them were sweating heavily and out of breath. No one even felt like talking. Inside the assembly hall, Major General Lin Jianye stood tall on the high platform. Everyone below the stage looked totally confused at the scene. Why would someone from the military host a political conference like this? But Lin Jianye had no time to explain anything. He directly opened the #1 red document on the podium and said in a deep voice, "We now issue an urgent cabinet order." As soon as he said this, all representatives immediately sat up straight and perked up their ears to listen. The order is as follows. Starting from this moment, suspend all current national policies. Take provincial capital cities as base points to have smaller cities fall under the management of major cities. Set up 34 precautionary zones. We require all construction and mining companies to devote all their resources to serving this plan. When he said this, you could hear a pin drop in the venue. All representatives stared at Lin Jianye with blank, shocked looks, shutting down a huge country with 2 billion people, and devoting all national resources to one single task. is basically equivalent to completely crashing Dragon Country's economy. If they didn't know they were sitting in the assembly hall, they would have thought they were listening to a madman. This is an order unanimously approved by the entire cabinet. All of you only need to follow it from now on, and fully cooperate with the country. With that, Lin Jianye left immediately, leaving the representatives looking at each other in confusion. The moment the assembly hall doors opened, the reporters waiting outside could barely hold back their questions. Mr. Wang, can you reveal what the meeting was about? Mr. Ma, is this related to online shopping or courier services? Faced with so many questions from reporters, no one gave any response. Suddenly, someone in the crowd yelled in shock, "Oh my God! Check Weibo right now." All reporters took out their phones immediately after hearing that. They saw a trending topic named Myth Special Bureau that quickly shot up to the #1 spot. Even the top 10 trending topics were all related to the Myth Special Bureau. What was even more shocking was that the newly registered official Weibo account of the Special Bureau had only posted one update, but this single post shook the whole of Dragon Country and even the entire Blue Planet. Starting from this moment, suspend all national policies. Go all out to implement the Precautionary Zone Plan. The Myth Special Bureau calls on all construction workers in Dragon Country to answer the country's call and participate in the construction of precautionary zones. Starting from this moment, we will recruit citizens aged 20 to 40 nationwide. We plan to expand the military by 8 million troops. Veterans will be given priority. The Myth Special Bureau calls on all aspiring young people to enlist. The Myth Special Bureau calls on all patriotic overseas Chinese to return to the country immediately. Dragon Country will close its borders soon. If you do not return, you will be responsible for your own life and death. All above decisions are reviewed and approved by leader #1 of Dragon Country, the cabinet, and the director of the Myth Special Bureau, unanimously passed, and shall be implemented immediately. As soon as the Weibo post was published, it was massively forwarded by all major media outlets. In just a few minutes, its views exceeded 100 million, and comments reached over 1 million. Oh my God, what on earth is happening? Is there going to be a war? 20-year-old single guy applying to join the army. 5-year veteran requesting to rejoin the force. Conch cement is at the country's disposal. Liugang Group will follow the country's arrangements. Zhangyi Group is determined to serve the people. For a while, the comments under the Weibo post deeply moved all Chinese people, and also shocked the forces hiding behind the scenes. Just the uniformly worded replies somehow made people's blood boil, even though they still had no idea the reason behind these decisions, and knew it might ruin their own bright future, even if they might lose their precious lives because of it. No one questioned the country's decision. This is the cohesion of China. This is the power of the dragon. Compared to the high-spirited public sentiment online in China, some so-called free countries were completely stunned. Because if this happened on their own soil, let alone uniform public support, there would probably be countless people protesting on the streets already. It might even trigger riots. Right now, inside the White House of Eagle Country, the blonde guy Donald is throwing a huge fit. What the fuck? What the hell is Dragon Country trying to do? Recruiting 8 million troops is already wild enough, and now they're completely closing their borders and cutting off all trade. Do they want to start Season 3? Investigate. Use all resources to find out what's going on. Meanwhile, some countries that have good relations with Dragon Country, also called leader #1 one after another, but all they got was no comment. Based on the principle of friendly coexistence, Commander #1 still dropped a few subtle hints. The world is facing an unprecedented great transformation. My friends, you'd better get prepared as soon as possible. This information also quickly reached those countries, but none of them cared at all. For one thing, they don't believe it at all. Even if they did believe it, there's nothing they can do about it. Not every country has the courage and public appeal of Dragon Country. Donald was even busy posting on Twitter to gain fans. Rest assured, everyone, no one knows Dragon Country better than I do. They're definitely bluffing to stir up chaos on Blue Planet. Don't fall for their trick. The internet is boiling with heated discussions. It's even more intense in real life. All major TV stations in Dragon Country are also using prime time to broadcast orders from the Mythical Anomaly Bureau one after another. After receiving the news, the public took action immediately. Countless workers packed their bags and headed for construction sites in provincial capitals. Age-eligible youth and retired veterans also said goodbye to their families and signed up for the army. Overseas embassies even issued calling notices overnight to recall Dragon Country citizens from all over the world. But there are always some spineless people. While mocking with their foreign so-called masters, They even brazenly claimed they would never come back. In a meeting room at Dongfeng Base, Lin Jianye tapped the table and asked, "How's the public opinion online right now?" The head of the internet team answered truthfully, "Domestic public sentiment is very high. A small number of negative comments have also been suppressed immediately. As for overseas, most people are bad-mouthing us. Some financial tycoons even plan to make a profit off our country this time." The most negative content is still some comments posted by overseas students on Twitter. They have a really big impact. Hearing this, you who sat at the head of the table looked calm. You said in a deep voice, "Ignore those unpatriotic ingrates. No need to persuade them either. Just take care of those who love the country. People who side with foreign forces, what's the use even if they come back? Informing them of the notice is already the mercy of our motherland. The top priority is the construction of 34 prevention zones. How's the preparation going so far?" Hearing your question, the head of the construction team stood up and replied, "Major construction companies, private engineering teams, as well as mining companies, cement factories, steel factories, and so on, have all responded actively to the call. We've transported materials to designated sites overnight. Construction can start tomorrow." You nodded gently upon hearing this. Don't cut the benefits they deserve. The people are responding to the country's call. That's their trust in the country. We can't let them down. This meeting lasted a full 2 hours. After sorting out all the arrangements, you stood up, looked at everyone present, and said loudly, "Comrades, facing this unprecedented great transformation, it's both a risk and an opportunity. I believe as long as we stand united with all people across the country, this transformation will definitely not be a disaster for Dragon Country. It's an opportunity." After you finished speaking, all young people at the meeting blushed with excitement. The elderly even felt 10 years younger. They were all full of energy. Everyone was boiling with passion. After the meeting, it was almost midnight when you returned to your room. You sat quietly on the bed, waiting for the power feedback from the class master. After another wave of comforting power surged into your body, you pulled up the system panel to check your attributes. After 2 days of feedback, your current stats have reached Strength 442. Constitution 486, Spirit 643. Even your weakest stat, Strength, is already 40 times that of an average person. You clenched your fist gently. A sonic boom even appeared in the empty air. Then you opened the system shop to check gift packs. The first item you checked was the Awakening Stone. 3 from yesterday plus 3 refreshed today. They can let 600 people awaken ahead of time. But in an instant, the 10 billion fund was almost used up. Of course, the EXP pill gift pack can't be missed. But this EXP pill can only be used by those below level 80. I'm almost level 60 now. I probably won't need it in a couple days, but whatever. Any small improvement is still better than nothing. Just when you were upset, you couldn't take the EXP pills with you. You were happily surprised to find the shop refreshed, and added an EXP pill gift pack usable in the real world. That made you over the moon. Even though it costs as much as 3 billion, and can only be used by those below level 30. But it can let the awakened troops level up ahead of time and get combat ready quickly. There's no doubt about it. We definitely have to buy it. After another round of satisfying shopping, you sent your level 80 character to the Wutong Dangerous Zone to grind monsters, and fell into a deep sleep yourself. The next day inside Dongfeng Base, when you arrived at the office, the first thing you saw was Lin Tong standing there cutely. Hot coffee was already placed on the table. You looked shocked. "Director Lin, what are you doing here?" Lin Tong's face turned bright red. Clearly, she's no longer as aloof as she was at the government office yesterday. "My superiors assigned me to be your secretary, Director, to assist with your daily work." You pick up the coffee and take a sip. You think to yourself, this identity shift is really way too fast. But to get where I am today, Lin Tong really deserves a huge amount of credit. Looks like in the days ahead, I need to take better care of this little girl. Director Lin, don't treat yourself as a secretary. Sensing the hidden meaning in your words, Lin Tong smiled playfully. Be it a director or a secretary, I'm still serving Dragon Country, right? Hearing this, you suddenly feel that teasing Lin Tong at this critical juncture is a little out of line. Then your expression turns serious, and you change the subject. I actually have a task for you to handle. Notify Director Lin immediately. Tell him to deploy the most elite top soldiers across the country. Cap the total number at 600 people. I plan to let them awaken their professions ahead of time. Then form the Myth Special Forces. Also transfer 10 billion to my bank card. Understood. Lin Tong replied and carried out the order right away. Lin Jianye, who received the order, didn't dare to slack off either. He immediately notified the top soldiers scattered all over the country. to drop all missions and rush to Dongfeng Base. In just 1 hour, inside Dongfeng Base, armed helicopters keep landing one after another. The deafening roar echoes in all directions. Report, Dragon Soul Squad. Authorized strength 30. 30 present, sir. Please review the troops. Report, Sharp Knife Squad. Authorized strength 30. 30 present. Sir, please review the troops. Sonorous voices echoed across the training ground one after another. Square teams in different uniforms stood straight and upright. Lin Jianye nodded with satisfaction. You may be very confused about why you were summoned here. Let me tell you. China, even the entire Blue Star, will face an unprecedented change. Our future enemies are extremely strong, and you are chosen to be the first batch of soldiers to face these enemies. Tell me, do you have the confidence? Yes. The mighty momentum soars straight to the sky. Great, that's exactly the spirit I want. Follow me. Inside the underground base, you and Lin Tong have been waiting here. Several experts are also waiting to collect blood samples for further research. Then the teams marched into the hall in perfect order one by one, looking at the scene in front of them, even though they were very curious. None of them glanced sideways at anything, until Lin Jianye walked behind you and stopped. A trace of surprise flashed across these top soldiers' faces. How could this young teenager hold a higher position than Major General Lin Jianye? You looked at their shocked gazes and said calmly, I'm Chen Xuan, 22 years old, Director of the Myth Special Bureau, Captain of the Myth Special Forces. From this moment on, you will be removed from your original team rosters and become members of the Myth Special Forces. You rank above all other troops and will be directly awarded the rank of Major. You will become the vanguard of Dragon Country against alien races. The risk level will be far higher than all your previous missions. If anyone wants to quit, you can leave right now. No one moved an inch. All Special Forces soldiers stood straight, staring at you with firm eyes. Seeing this, you nodded with satisfaction. Then you waved your hand, and 6 giant stones covered with strange patterns appeared in the middle of the hall. This scene of objects appearing out of thin air made these battle-hardened Special Forces soldiers' pupils shrink sharply. Their strong willpower barely kept them from crying out in shock. Then under your command, everyone lined up and walked to the awakening stones one by one. The first one to step forward was Sharp Knife Squad Captain Xia Pingwu. He is known as the best of the best top soldiers. Xia Pingwu stretched out his thick, calloused hand and pressed it against the awakening stone. With a low hum, in an instant, the profound patterns on the awakening stone lit up one after another as if activated. The purple light was dreamy and surreal, illuminating the entire hall. Then Xia Pingwu's body was wrapped in the light into a cocoon, emitting a dazzling glow. Seeing this strange scene, the top soldiers could no longer hold back and started exclaiming and whispering in commotion. Even Lin Jianye and Lin Tong, who had seen your terrifying power before, kept clicking their tongues in amazement. Only you smiled calmly. I didn't expect the first person to awaken would get a legendary profession. He really lives up to his name as Sharp Knife Squad Captain. Don't think just because you're full myth grade now. Awakening a mythic profession in real life is as hard as climbing to the sky. Even legendary professions are 1 in 10,000. Normal people would be lucky to awaken an advanced profession. A moment later, the light faded away. Xia Pingwu walked back with an excited look on his face. The moment he awakened his class, he could clearly feel that he'd gotten stronger, at least several times stronger than he used to be. What class did you awaken? You looked at Xia Pingwu and asked, though you could tell from the color of the light beam, the grade of Xia Pingwu's awakened class. You couldn't figure out what exact class he got. Xia Pingwu didn't dare slack off. He stood straight, saluted, and said, reporting. I awakened the legendary combat class, Saint Warrior. You nodded approvingly and said, not bad. Go over there and assist the experts with their research. Right after that, you turned to the top soldiers. You snapped, next group. This class awakening session lasted a full 2.5 hours. To your pleasant surprise, 20 of the 600 Special Forces soldiers got legendary classes. Almost 200 got rare classes. The rest all got at least high-grade classes. And almost all of their classes are combat-oriented. Only a small handful got support classes. The one you value most among them is Yuwen Tao, Captain of the Dragon Soul Special Squad. He awakened the legendary hidden class, Saint Array Master. It's a combat class. He has an incredible natural talent for array formations. He can set up arrays several times faster than regular array masters, and the arrays he sets up are way more powerful. For Longo right now, this class is second only in importance to you. After all, with the protection of arrays set up by Yuwen Tao, The safety of Longguo's 34 defense zones will improve drastically. Even if they can't block high-level exotic beasts, they can at least buy you enough time to come to the rescue. Then you took out the experience pills you bought and handed them out. After they all took the pills and leveled up, you stood in front of everyone and said in a loud voice, "Comrades, do you think you're strong enough now?" "Strong!" The top soldiers all shouted at the top of their lungs. For ordinary people, even for the entire Blue Star, you guys are definitely strong enough. But against the enemies we'll face in the future, you're still very weak as ants or even worse. As soon as you said that, you could clearly feel that they had disgruntled looks on their faces. But you didn't hold back at all just because you might hurt their confidence. As members of the Myth Special Forces, they deserve and need to know the truth. In 5 days, to be exact, 4.5 days from now, the Myth era will descend on Blue Star. By then, you'll be facing giant beasts tens of meters long, even hundreds or thousands of meters long. Do you still think you're strong enough now? As soon as you finished speaking, all the team members' pupils shrank. They looked absolutely horrified. Even though they're all battle-hardened veterans, when they heard this earth-shattering truth, a faint trace of fear crossed all their minds. I hope all of you can avoid arrogance and impatience, and train even harder. Don't get cocky just because your strength increased out of nowhere. You are the future hope of the entire Longguo, and the backbone of the people. Then you took the prepared exotic beast, illustrated handbooks, and passed them out to everyone. From now on, I don't care if you memorize everything by rote, or use any other method. You have to memorize all the information in the handbook thoroughly. Think about what you would do if you faced this kind of exotic beast. To kill it successfully, after you finished speaking, you didn't stay any longer. You told Ye Wentao to bring Lin Tong and went back to the office, because you had more important matters to attend to. Ye Wentao, what skill did you awaken? Reporting, Director. I awakened the legendary skill, 8-Direction Sword Array. A golden glint flashed in your eyes when you heard that. The 8-Direction Sword Array is an incredibly powerful sword array. It's perfect for the defense work of our security zones. What materials do you need to set up the 8-Direction Sword Array? Make a list right away. Once the logistics department collects all the materials, you will immediately go to the 34 defense zones to set up the arrays. Time is tight. Get on it right now. Yes, sir! Ye Wentao saluted and turned to leave. Just then, Lin Tong came up to you. Director, there's something you probably have to handle personally. You were totally confused. All the important matters were almost all arranged. What could be so urgent? Your father is demanding to join the army. He almost got into a fight with the people from the conscription office. Ever since you became the director of the Special Bureau, your parents have been under secret protection, and they haven't been told about what you do. This national conscription is only for people under 40 years old. Your father, Chen Liujun, is already way over the age limit, but he's extremely determined to join the army. Plus, he's a veteran who served 10 years, so the conscription office people can't really turn him down harshly. So they had to report it to you. You were really thrown off at this moment. Even a good judge can't settle family disputes, huh? Officially speaking, my dad is almost 50 years old. He doesn't meet the national requirements either. Personally speaking, the future battles will be extremely brutal. Of course I want to keep my family safe. On top of that, Longguo has countless ambitious young people. How can we let the older generation go to the battlefield? They deserve to enjoy their lives. Are there many cases of older people rushing to join the army? You looked up at Lin Tong and asked, Tons and tons. The public's enthusiasm is way beyond our expectations. All veterans, no exceptions. No matter what age group they're in, they're all scrambling to sign up for the army. The public morale is absolutely solid. We're all united as one. If Dragon Country can be this united, what difficulty could we possibly not overcome? You stay silent for a long while, then you give your order. Tell the conscription office to issue a notice. Explain the situation clearly. Don't let these veterans feel let down. As for my dad, I'll call him myself to talk it out. City Bureau Director Lin Tong takes the order and leaves. Only then do you take out your phone and make a call. Hey, you little rascal. You haven't called home in 2 whole weeks. Do you think you're too good for us now? Have you got a girlfriend yet? Listening to the gruff voice from the phone, the corner of your mouth twitches. Same old dude, same old vibe. I heard you're planning to join the army. Yep, the country needs us. As a vet with 10 years of service, it's my duty. Well, you're too late, old man. Your son has already enlisted. If both of us go to the battlefield, who's gonna take care of Mom? This time you just stay home and rest easy. I'll fight in your place. You know your dad is as stubborn as a mule. Normal persuasion won't work on him. You little brat! What the hell do you think you're doing? Get your ass back here right now. You're the only heir of the Chen family. I'm still waiting to hold my grandkid. Chen Liujun was fuming with rage. No can do, Dad, you reply. You're a veteran. You know what happens to deserters. That one calm line from you left Chen Liujun speechless immediately. After a long while, he spoke slowly. Take good care of yourself, son. Cooperate with the training properly. Sweat more in training, and you'll bleed less in battle. Your mom and I will wait for you to come home victorious. Listening to his nagging on the phone, you feel a warm rush in your heart. Across the entire dragon country right now, countless elders just like your dad are tirelessly giving advice to their sons. Joining the army was relatively safe in peacetime, but with the country making such big moves this time, everyone knows a major war is coming. Who wouldn't worry about their own flesh and blood? Putting yourself in their shoes. As the strongest combat force in Dragon Country right now, the only thing you can do is get stronger as fast as possible, and do everything you can to protect every aspiring young soldier. Just as you're lost in thought, a message suddenly pops up on Lin Tong's phone. He picks it up to check, and his face immediately drops. Director, something bad happened. An international student from Eagle Land got a recall order from his home country and decided to return home. But Eagle Land detained him on all kinds of excuses. You're a bit confused. He's just an international student. Why are they making such a big deal out of this? You don't know the full story, Director. His name is Xiao Chenfeng. He has made huge achievements in medicine, biology, and nuclear energy. At a very young age, he won the World Scientific Research Lifetime Achievement Award. He's universally recognized as a prodigy in scientific research. Not only has he participated in many of Eagle Land's cutting-edge scientific research projects, even President Donald treats him like his own son. Now that he suddenly announced he's going back to his home country, Eagle Land obviously can't accept that. You snort coldly after hearing that. What a bunch of domineering bandits. To get a clearer picture of the whole incident, you take out your phone to check the news. Sure enough, the internet is already blowing up. Dragon Country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a solemn statement, strongly condemning Eagle Land's hegemonic behavior. Dragon Country strongly urges Eagle Land to return our citizen Xiao Chenfeng immediately. If they refuse to comply, we will take all necessary measures, and we do not rule out the use of force. The Foreign Ministry's video on Weibo has once again caused a huge sensation. Countless netizens are hoping that the motherland won't just stick to verbal condemnation this time, but will use its real strength to fight back head-on. Inside the White House of Eagle Land, a group of generals look at each other in dismay. There's even a hint of panic in their eyes. The reason they detained Xiao Chenfeng is twofold. First, Xiao Chenfeng still has very high utilization value for them. Second, Dragon Country's recent large-scale moves have made them extremely nervous. They thought it was just a bluff at first. They never expected Dragon Country to be serious this time. Now even all the embassies stationed abroad have been recalled one after another. Who knows if Dragon Country will really start the S3 season? If Xiao Chenfeng returns to his home country safely, it will definitely greatly improve Dragon Country's scientific research capabilities. The lesson of letting that old scientist go back then is still fresh in their memory. Suddenly, a beautiful blonde secretary with blue eyes rushed in a hurry to report. Your Excellency, Mr. President, just now, an aircraft carrier battle group in Eastern Dragon Country has moved. It seems to be heading eastward. Shit, Donald snapped angrily, and rushed to the command room with a bunch of senior officials. At the same time, you at the base also got a call from Leader Number 1. Comrade Chen Xuan, I shouldn't have interrupted your work, but there's something I think only you can handle properly. Hearing Leader Number 1 speak so politely, you felt flattered for a moment. You're too kind, Leader. Everything I do is for Dragon Country. All right, I'll cut to the chase. You've probably heard about what happened to Comrade Xiao Chenfeng. The cabinet's opinion is that, unless absolutely necessary, we don't want to have a direct conflict with the US during this critical period. After all, we need to fully focus on building our defense zones. Besides, the main enemy we'll face isn't them at all. It's the Myth era that's coming in a few days. That's why we need your help on this. Bring Xiao Chenfeng back unofficially. Hearing that, you thought for a moment and said solemnly, Leader, I actually have an idea. We just set up the Myth Special Forces. We can use this mission to test them against the US. Why don't we let them handle this? With your current strength, sneaking into the US to take Xiao Chenfeng away is as easy as pie, as long as the US doesn't use high lethal weapons. Regular guns can't hurt you at all. Maybe only missiles can scratch you a little. Leader Number 1 nodded. That works, but remember, your only goal this trip is to get Xiao Chenfeng out. There's no need to tangle with them. We've got way more things to take care of. Yes, sir, you hung up the phone. You headed straight to the Special Forces base right away. Fall in, everyone. The second you stepped into the hall, Your loud voice boomed across the room. The team members who were sitting around discussing things jumped to their feet immediately. They lined up in formation in no time. Xiapingwu, Chendinghuang, Hushawan, you 7 come with me. The rest stay here for training and stand by. The 7 people you picked are basically captains of the principal squads. All of them have awakened legendary classes. With these 7 plus you, if you can't even bring Xiao Chenfeng back, we don't even need to talk about the beast hordes from the Myth era. After getting on the plane, you told them the purpose of this trip. The US has detained one of our international students. The organization has ordered us to rescue him. This is your first battle after awakening your classes. I hope you won't make me step in personally. Hearing what you said, Xiaopingwu and the others said nothing, but you could clearly feel the strong fighting spirit coming from them. After a few hours of flight, it was already midnight in Dragon Country time. On the plane, you once again received a class-level notification. This time it showed the stats after reaching level 80. Immense power coursed through your body if you hadn't been prepared beforehand, and forcibly suppressed the energy fluctuation. The entire plane would have been affected. 10 minutes later, feeling the even stronger power in your body, you looked overjoyed. At this moment, you even felt that Blue Star's gravity no longer had any effect on you. It felt like you could even walk on air. Of course, you had no intention of trying that. After all, you were 10,000 meters up in the air. If you messed up, you'd be totally dead. Then, you bought all the newly refreshed mall gift packs. The newly refreshed limited-time early experience pills were now usable from level 40 instead of level 30, and the new premium experience gift packs also had their level cap raised from 80 to 100. You popped them all like candy. Your basic level 100 was finally maxed out. Your face was full of joy. Though you were happy, you didn't get cocky at all. After all, level 100 is just the basic threshold. There are several higher tiers above it. Besides, in the Myth era, there are countless alien beasts way stronger than you. You still need to take advantage of the Myth game before it shuts down to keep improving your strength. But the next second, a notification popped up on your phone, making your face darken. Congratulations on reaching level 100, player. You are now a fully fledged Chaos Swordmaster. You can no longer use experience pills to raise your realm from now on. Killing monsters in game dungeons, and even killing alien beasts after the Myth era arrives, will not give you any experience points. You can only improve by comprehending the laws. Seeing these notifications, you looked a little disappointed. You'd thought you could use the game to raise your level to the legendary temple tier, or at least reach the true king realm if nothing else. Looks like that was just a pipe dream. Makes sense, though. If all you had to do was grind mobs and spend cash to cruise all the way through, then what the heavenly Tao sent down wouldn't be a slim chance of survival, but an unbeatable immortal buff. But me being able to reach level 100 already is already a huge lead ahead of everyone else. After letting out a soft sigh, you used all the skill scroll gift packs you bought, and also took all 5 of your awakened class skills, and maxed them to level 100 before stopping. Once you finished all that, the plane finally arrived on the other side of the ocean. Right now, inside a villa on the outskirts of Los Angeles, a gentle, refined young man was quietly standing in front of a world map staring at something. Don't be fooled by the quiet around the villa. In reality, there are secretly hundreds of heavily armed soldiers guarding the place. Inside the room, a blonde, blue-eyed, curvaceous woman walked gracefully toward the young man with 2 glasses of red wine. My Xiao. Want to have a drink? Xiao Kunfeng calmly reached out to take the glass, but still didn't say a single word. The woman took a sip of red wine with her sexy red lips and said softly, Xiao, why do you insist on going back to Long Country? Isn't it nice to stay here? There's beautiful scenery here. It's full of the vibe of freedom, as long as you agree. You can get a green card and 10 billion US dollars right away. And me, right here in front of you. In that instant, her soft, voluptuous figure leaned close, pressing against him gently. If this were any other man, they would have lost control a long time ago. But Xiao Chenfeng stayed completely calm. You don't understand. My motherland is my motherland no matter where I am. You can lock up my body, but you can't lock up my soul. Lilia was just about to say something else, when suddenly there was a loud boom. A roaring sound came from the sky, followed by intense gunfire and angry shouts. Hundreds of soldiers raised their guns and fired wildly into the dark. Even with their thermal imaging goggles, they still couldn't spot the figures hidden in the dark. Whoosh! 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 Several piercing sounds cut through the air one after another. The surrounding soldiers all stared wide-eyed and looked over, and were so shocked by the scene that they broke out in cold sweat. Several large trees, roots, and dirt attached. were flying straight towards their direction. And while they were panicking and dodging, several figures moved at an incredible speed and flashed right in front of them. There was a loud bang. The leading figure threw a punch and smashed a huge hole straight through the villa's outer wall. Oh my god, what kind of monster is that? Shouts of shock kept ringing out one after another. Even these well-trained soldiers were nothing more than weaklings in front of those figures. Even the shockwave from the impact could knock them flying to the ground in just a single breath. All of these soldiers were lying on the ground, unable to move. Even the ones who weren't injured lay down and played dead. Right after that, you walked into the villa with your hands behind your back. Several personal guard soldiers inside plucked up their courage and shakily pointed their guns at you, while barking angrily, "Shit, who the hell are you people? Come any closer and I'll shoot." But you completely ignored them. You stared right at Xiao Chenfeng and said, "Mr. Xiao, we're here to take you home." Hearing that, Xiao Chenfeng's emotional defenses completely crumbled. His already thin body started trembling uncontrollably, and his face was covered in hot tears. Then he nodded heavily at you. After getting Xiao Chenfeng's confirmation, you suddenly moved. But it also looked like you didn't move at all. It just seemed like a figure flashed, like a ghost right in front of the soldiers. They didn't even have time to pull the trigger before they were all sent flying through the air. "Oh my god," Lilia, standing off to the side, screamed loudly like she'd just seen a god, then collapsed to the ground and passed out. You didn't have time to care about any of that. You just waved your hand lightly, and the team members escorted Xiao Chenfeng away into the night. The whole process took less than 3 minutes. After all, this is deep inside Eagle Nation's territory. If they got word of the attack, they'd use weapons of mass destruction at all costs to attack. You'd be fine either way, but the team members might get hurt as a result. Then you followed Neck, the mole you planted here, got in the car and headed for the nearest dock. But there are countless surveillance cameras everywhere. There's no way you could destroy all of them. After receiving news of the attack, the entire Los Angeles garrison was mobilized immediately. All streets were completely blocked by local police. Even all kinds of media swarmed over, fighting to get the first exclusive news. While their blockade force was still relatively weak, you forced your way through and broke through to the dock. But by then, dozens of police cars were following behind you, and there were also several helicopters circling in the air. You scanned the surrounding situation and said in a deep voice, "Xia Pingwu, escort Mr. Xiao onto the boat first." Xia Pingwu and the others' faces changed when they heard this. They knew exactly what your identity was. Your importance to Long Country is far greater than all of them, even greater than Xiao Chenfeng himself. "Captain, let me stay behind to cover. You get on the boat first." You glare at him sharply and snarl in a cold voice, "Follow my order. These losers can't hold me back." At the same time, the soaked cops are also holding a megaphone not far away yelling, "People of Longo, you're surrounded. Surrender right now, or we'll open fire." Before he finished speaking, a black dot in the distance keeps growing larger. It's actually a shipping container flying right at them. They're so scared they scatter in all directions. The crashing container crushes all nearby police cars flat like pancakes. Seeing this, the armed helicopters overhead immediately open fire to strafe. Who knew 2 more cars would come flying through the air next? These multi-ton vehicles are like pebbles that you toss around casually. The combat personnel on the helicopters immediately yank the controls to retreat. The hailstorm of bullets also stops. Right now you're only throwing cars. If they piss you off for real, you might grab a docked ship and hurl it at them. They have zero confidence they can dodge that. And right under the eyes of Yankee soldiers and the media who look at you like you're a god, you turn around calmly and board the ship slowly. You stand firmly at the bow, staring right at them. Your overwhelming aura makes everyone on shore too scared to move. They just stare blankly as your ship leaves. A few minutes later, inside the White House, Donald is furious when he gets the news. "General William, what the hell is going on here? Is that place a public restroom? People from Longguo can come whenever they want and leave whenever they feel like it. Does the British military have no dignity left at all?" William's face darkens immediately. He hurriedly hands over the blurry footage, captured by street cameras. In the night mist, it looks like someone is uprooting a willow tree with one hand, then lifts it over his head and hurls it at a distant villa. "Mr. President, the person Longo sent isn't a normal human. Conventional methods can't do anything to him. I request to deploy fighter jets from the naval base to intercept him." Donald stares at the footage. His brows are furrowed deeply. "Remember, Show must never leave this place. Drop bombs directly if necessary. Burying him at sea is better than letting him return to Longguo. Right after that, at the British naval base, Several F-22 fighter jets rev up to full power and shoot into the sky, speeding straight towards your ship. Meanwhile, you who just got out of danger temporarily are resting in the ship's cockpit. Team members are on guard outside. Next to them are the agents planted in the UK. Great work, everyone. The country has arranged a fleet waiting for us in international waters. As long as we hold out a little longer, we can go home? Understood. After hearing your words, the woman codenamed Peacock and the rest of the team all nod in agreement. At the same time, a huge fleet is anchored in international waters. In the command room of the flagship, hundreds of Longguo military officials are using satellites to monitor your ship at all times. A burly middle-aged man in a green military uniform, with 2 stars on his shoulder epaulets, is Lieutenant General Huang Fu-zhong, the fleet commander. Reporting, sir. 20 F-22 Raptor fighter jets are approaching the ship codenamed Myth. Current estimated distance, 150 nautical miles. Huang Fu-zhong's face falls at the report. Facing such a serious matter, even he as a lieutenant general doesn't dare to make a decision on his own. He immediately takes out an encrypted phone and dials Leader 1's number. Wait a little longer. We have to trust Mr. Chen, but remember one thing. No matter what the cost is, we must keep Comrade Chen Xuan safe, even if we have to cross international waters and engage in direct combat. Listening to the voice coming from the phone, Huang Fu-zhong finally feels reassured. Meanwhile, as the Raptor fighter squadron gets closer, you, who have extremely sharp intuition, also sense something off in the air. You slowly walk out of the cabin and stand at the bow of the ship on the deck, squinting slightly as you stare at the dark sky. Xia Pingwu and the others follow behind you. Gradually, the fighter jets emerge from the clouds. Their huge, dark silhouettes shock everyone present. Suddenly, Xia Pingwu's face changes drastically and cries out in alarm, "Captain, jump now!" The next second, a missile trailing sparks flies through the air, falling towards you like a shooting star. No one expected the Yankees to be this ruthless. Not even a warning. They launched a missile straight away. The extreme sense of danger leaves you no time to respond. You disappear from your spot in an instant and reappear in the air like you teleported. You lift your leg and volley kick it hard. The incoming missile is actually kicked away by you. It lands far away on the sea and explodes. Next, you move around rapidly in succession. Whooshing sounds keep echoing through the air. Back-to-back explosions sent powerful shockwaves across the sea surface, and even stirred up monstrous waves. After taking out the first wave of threats, you moved in a flash and darted to the center of the ship. Then you ripped off the flagpole with your bare hands and hurled it like a javelin with all your strength. The terrifying force created a sonic boom in the surrounding air. The leading F-22 fighter jet had no time to dodge and was pierced straight through in an instant, blowing up like a firework. This whole move of yours took less than 10 seconds. It stunned everyone from Xia Pingwu's group who witnessed it in person, to Huang Fu-zhong's team on the fleet who watched. The satellite feed transmitted back, even Donald, who was monitoring in real time. All of them froze on the spot like statues. The fighter pilots were even more scared out of their wits. What the fuck? Are you sure this is a blue planet species? We didn't run into a Saiyan, did we? They joined the army, not to die for nothing. In this horrifying situation, the remaining fighter jets had already fled without a trace. With your overwhelming strength crushing them, this pursuit was doomed to be a joke. Then you returned under the escort of the aircraft carrier fleet. After several hours of sailing, you finally arrived back in the country safely. Right after that, you immediately started awakening classes for the new batch of soldiers. But the awakening grades of this batch of soldiers were a bit worse overall. Only 2 of them awakened legendary classes. After all, nearly all elite soldiers were selected in the first round. It's worth mentioning that during this round of awakenings, your secretary Ling Tong also got one of the slots. The class she awakened was actually Holy Light Swordsman, a legendary light-type swordsmanship class. It can both attack and heal. It was another busy day. It was already 12 a.m. by the time you got into bed. The reward you got this time was a level 100 feedback, compared to the previous 3 times. This time, the power poured down like a vast celestial river and enveloped your body in an instant. With this powerful power boosting you, the space around you began to twist. The terrifying aura even shattered all the surrounding glass onto the floor. It lasted for nearly half an hour before finally calming down. You pulled up the panel to check your body attributes. All stats were close to the 10,000 mark. Suddenly you were shocked to find that Blue Planet's gravity no longer worked on you at all. You achieved the flying ability from Xianxia novels. On top of that, your over 9,000 physique stat made your defense and vitality terrifyingly strong. Now, not to mention sniper rifles. Even missiles can't break through your defense. You glanced at the shop. Today, besides the usual gift packs, there were actually several new gift packs available. Exclusive Divine Weapon Pack for Chaos Swordsman contains mid-tier upgradable weapons and equipment. Price, 5 billion. Enlightenment Gift Pack. Using it temporarily increases comprehension by 100 times. A must-have for breaking through realms. Price, 3 billion. Special Gift Pack. Allows you to know in advance the coordinates of awakening stones appearing within Dragon Country's borders. Price, 10 billion. Looking at the newly added gift packs, you didn't hesitate at all and immediately called Lin Tong and asked for another 30 billion. The exclusive Divine Weapon Pack can boost your own strength. The Enlightenment Gift Pack gives you the possibility to break through to the King Realm in a short time. But this Enlightenment cushion has usage restrictions. It can only be used after all class abilities are fully fed back. Needless to say about the special gift pack, it allows Dragon Country to quickly find more awakening stones. After thinking for a moment, since everyone will have a chance to awaken a class in the future, why not let your parents awaken first? Even if their awakening is really bad, it can still improve their health. At least you can use experience pills to train them. After all, once the myth descends, ordinary people can only gain experience by killing monsters. How could you bear to let your parents take such a big risk? You're not some saint, even if you hold a high position now. Who doesn't have a little selfishness? Even though the myth special forces has been established now, in the early stages of the myth's descent, you still have to face everything alone. After all, no one knows how strong. The exotic beasts will be after they descend, and only you can guarantee a solo kill on the exotic beasts. That being the case, it seems reasonable for you as the director to use a little bit of privilege for personal gain, right? With that in mind, at 9 a.m. on August 30th of the Dragon Country calendar, you got in an ordinary domestic car and took Lin Tong to your hometown in Qingcheng. On the way, you learned that Dragon Country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs just issued a statement. Dragon Country will close its borders in 12 hours. Embassies of all Blue Planet countries should evacuate as soon as possible. Patriotic overseas Chinese who want to return should also come as early as possible. In addition, irrelevant foreign personnel in the country will be expelled. Those who refuse to comply will be executed on the spot. All further explanations are under the authority of Dragon Country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As soon as the news was released, it got hundreds of millions of likes in just a few seconds. Every netizen in Dragon Country is extremely excited. Dragon Country has finally stopped staying silent. The sign saying Chinese and dogs not allowed is still fresh in our memory. Now it's finally our turn to take the lead. That's so freaking awesome. I never regret being a Chinese citizen in this life. Unlike the excited people of Dragon Country, all countries on the Blue Planet are totally terrified. Getting expelled is nothing serious. The real problem is once Dragon Country closes its borders, it will break the entire global economic chain. For some countries, forget about making money. Losing Dragon Country's exported goods and consumer market will be a fatal blow to them. It might even cause national unrest if things go south. What panics them most is that until now, they still can't figure out Dragon Country's real intention. All the spies they sent out have gone completely missing. With no other options left, Eagle can only team up with Western Pact countries to impose full sanctions on Dragon Country, hoping to force Dragon Country to withdraw its resolution. But the Dragon Country Ministry of Foreign Affairs then released an even more shocking response statement. Dragon Country warns all ill-intentioned countries on Blue Planet. Our latest national policy is a resolution made by all our people. No other country has the right to meddle in our business. If you want to fight, we will give you a fight. These words left all Eagle's allied countries completely stunned. What on earth is Dragon Country trying to do? Is it trying to fight the entire Blue Planet? This isn't like the low-key Oriental lion we know. Right in this extremely tense atmosphere, you casually took your secretary back to your home. Looking at Lin Tong, who's older than you but very poised and steady, your mother Yeshu had a big smile on her face. She kept holding her hand and asking about her life. She didn't even pay any attention to you. After all, an older wife brings great fortune to the family. Your dad Chen Liujin patted your shoulder satisfactorily. Nice job, kiddo. You even lied to me saying you don't have a girlfriend. You rolled your eyes speechlessly. Old Chen. Stop messing around, you two. She's my secretary, Lin Tong. Cut the crap was barely out of his mouth. When your dad scolded you angrily, you think I served in the army for 10 years for nothing? A total newbie like you having a secretary? No way. He even raised his hand to hit you as he spoke. This really scared the restless Lin Tong on the sofa badly. Looking across the entire Dragon Country, Who else dares to hit you like this? Fine, old Chen, if you say so. I won't pretend anymore. I'm laying all my cards on the table. I, Chen Xuan, am the current director of the Myth Special Bureau. Hearing this, Chen Liujun took off his 7 horses slippers and got ready to beat you up with it. You quickly raised your hand to stop him. Then you gave 2 quick signals. Right after, 2 teams of fully armed soldiers carried a stone into the room. Report mission completed. Please give your orders, sir. Good. Return to your squad immediately. Stand guard outside. Yes. It wasn't until the 2 teams of soldiers left that your parents still hadn't processed what just happened. Especially your dad, Chen Liujun. He's used real weapons before. He knows exactly what his son is capable of. You can't even rent real guns and ammo for a show. Under their stunned gazes, you stopped messing around, stood up seriously and said, Comrade Chen Liujun, Comrade Yisho, what I'm about to tell you is the top secret of Dragon Country right now. You can only keep it to yourselves. You must not tell anyone else. This is the non-disclosure agreement. Please sign it. This made the 2 elders even more confused. But out of trust for their son, they still signed their names without thinking. Major changes will happen to Blue Planet in 2 days. If the country takes any measures, then you must follow all instructions. I came back this time. First, to spend some time with you 2. Second, to let you 2 awaken your professions early. Then you roughly explained the myth descent and profession systems to them. The 2 elders were totally confused the whole time. They only remembered one thing anyway. Putting your hand on this stone makes you stronger. Then Chen Liujun stretched out his big, thick hand and pressed it on the awakening stone in the living room. A bright golden red light pillar burst out instantly. Even you, who were calm just now, got a shock. Oh my god, my dad actually awakened a mythic profession. This is the 2nd mythic profession awakener. In the entire Dragon Country so far, like father, like son, that's amazing. Not only are Niyu and Lin Tong powerful, Chen Liujun himself is super strong too. Right now, he can clearly feel the huge power flowing in his body and the related profession insights filling his mind. This is the first time in his nearly 50 years of life that he has encountered such an amazing thing. Anyone would be stunned in this situation. Old Chen, what profession did you awaken? The light faded away. You quickly rushed forward and grabbed Chen Liujun's arm and asked excitedly, Mythic level hidden profession. Enchanter. Chen Liujun subconsciously blurted out the thoughts he had in his mind. Enchanter, a mythic life-type hidden class. It can enchant all non-living items. Enchantment power is related to the enchanter's level and their understanding of the materials used. Golden light flashed in your eyes when you heard this. Originally, you just wanted them to awaken their classes and build up their physical strength and stay safely in the rear to enjoy retirement. But that doesn't seem possible now. A mythic-level enchanter is absolutely vital to the current Dragon Country. Putting other things aside, just for the 34 defense zones alone, adding defense buffs to the city walls, or enchanting the new equipment you just bought, is an urgent task that cannot wait. You pulled the still confused Chen Liujun to sit down, and said to the equally stunned Ye Shu next to you, Old Ye, it's your turn now. I need to do it too? All right then. Ye Shu, who had come to her senses, responded, and walked up to the awakening stone. She took several deep breaths, before slowly placing her hand on it. But unexpectedly, a bright red-gold light beam rose up again in the room. Damn, even the cool and aloof Linglong couldn't hold back and cursed out loud. What kind of freaks is this family? All 3 family members awakened mythic classes. People who don't know would think you, the director, are rigging this. The light faded away. You stepped forward excitedly to ask again. Mine is the mythic hidden class alchemist, a mythic life-type hidden class. It can refine all kinds of pills. The class inheritance automatically includes all pill formulas. You had no idea how to describe your feelings right now. You awakened your mythic class thanks to the heavenly will and spending real money on the game. But your elderly parents, as ordinary people, actually managed to awaken mythic hidden classes, entirely with their own strength. And both classes are extremely useful to the country. Although your mother's alchemist class, right now when spiritual energy hasn't revived yet, and spiritual herbs haven't grown yet, is indeed less useful than your father's enchanter class. But in the near future, the alchemist's role will be no less than the enchanter's. Think about EXP pills, strength boost pills, healing potions, and more. They're all rare and must-have items for everyone. Originally, you felt a little guilty using state money to support your parents, but now training these 2 is urgent for both public and private reasons. You immediately took out your privately stored EXP pills for them to take. Both of them quickly leveled up to level 40. The sudden boost in their physique and spirit changed the two elders completely. The crow's feet on Yeshu's face disappeared entirely. Even her originally somewhat dry hair became jet black and shiny. Her skin even became bouncy and smooth. When Yeshu saw her changes in the mirror, she grinned like a total fool. Sure enough, no woman can resist the temptation of looking better. Ha ha ha, Mr. Chen, Mrs. Yo! We're in the middle of official business here. Watching your parents look like they can't wait to stick together and kiss each other. You shook your head and cleared your throat softly, scaring the two elders until their ears turned bright red. Old Chen, old ya. You two are being so tacky, caring so much about a pretty appearance. True power comes from the inner soul. Seeing you being so cheeky and disrespectful, each of them grabbed one of your ears and almost lifted you off the ground. Helpless, you had to use your director identity to get out of trouble. All right. Let's get back to official business. Now, as the director of the Myth Special Bureau, I appoint Comrade Chen Liujin as head of the enchantment team of the Myth Special Bureau. I appoint Comrade Yeshu as head of the Myth Special Bureau's alchemy team. The two elders who had experienced the huge physical transformation no longer doubted your identity at this point. But when they heard that they, ordinary civilians, were suddenly going to lead a team under the most mysterious organization in Dragon Country, they still couldn't quite accept it in their hearts. After all, the power they get is secondary. The responsibility they have to take is much heavier. Besides, you're appointing people based on kinship. Won't other people badmouth you behind your back? You also saw the worry on the two elders' faces. You immediately raised your voice and said, Comrades, I'm not discussing this with you right now. This is an order. The couple just wanted to say something. When they saw your serious face and determined look in your eyes, the two elders who always doted on you flinched in shock. Yes, sir. As a veteran who retired 10 years ago, Chen Lujun even subconsciously stood up and saluted you. Then you told Lin Tong to contact the bureau. After arranging everything properly, the serious work atmosphere finally faded away. The family fell back into a warm and happy mood again. To be exact, it was old Chen, old Ye, and Lin Tong who were having a great time. You, the biological son, were completely ignored after dinner. I packed up with the two elders and rushed back to Dongfeng base. It was already 9 p.m. at that point. The Foreign Ministry of Dragon Country released its latest announcement. Just 4 simple words. Dragon Country closes its borders. 10 minutes later, the second announcement was released. On August 31st, 8 a.m. Dragon Country time, 6.8 million troops will be deployed to 34 prevention zones across the country simultaneously. Each prevention zone is expected to have 200,000 troops stationed. All prevention zones are requested to coordinate relevant arrangements. As these two announcements went public, countries across Blue Star were shocked beyond words for the umpteenth time. In the past few days, all the trending searches on the entire planet are about Dragon Country. Keep in mind that even the combined troops of the other 4 permanent members on Blue Star don't add up to 6 million, and that's just the publicly available data. Who knows how many more troops they have in secret? As the local tyrant of Blue Star, Eagle Sauce, how could he stand a poor peasant hoarding that much grain? He immediately called an emergency meeting to discuss countermeasures. As one of Eagle Sauce's lapdogs, Sakura Country, the public's reaction was way more honest. All flights leaving for other countries on Blue Star are fully booked. Cruise ships and private yachts are all sold out. Even spots for sneaking into Bear Country are impossible to get. Because they know, if Dragon Country is about to kick off Season S3, Sakura Country will definitely be the first one to get hit. This night was bound to be chaotic. Lots of citizens stayed up all night. Though they absolutely trust their country, they still felt a little uneasy deep down. After all, the country hasn't told them the reason for all this yet. Early morning of August 31st, the sky had just started to lighten. Tons of media had already gathered at every prevention zone. Such a grand sight of 200,000 stationed troops. Even the elders who lived through the war era were completely amazed by it. Suddenly, a roaring sound came from the distance. The whole ground was trembling with it. Then a scene that would shock countless Dragon Country citizens unfolded right in front of them. At the far end of the road, rows after rows of Type 99 main battle tanks and infantry fighting vehicles lined up like a long dragon. They were slowly driving towards the prevention zone. The entire convoy stretched for miles. You couldn't see the end of it no matter how far you looked. Besides the shock of the troops moving into the prevention zones, the heartwarming scenes of people all over the country collecting supplies and delivering them to the troop stations touched countless netizens as well. This is the super strong cohesion of Dragon Country. The army loves the people. The people support the army. At 9 a.m. on September 1st, Dragon Country time, the country released a new notice. On September 2nd, Dragon Country time, all industries across the country will have a day off. All citizens are requested to stay at home. Do not go outside under any circumstances. Also at 9 a.m. that same day, the Mythical Special Bureau will hold a press conference. All senior officials of every Dragon Country department will be present. At the same time, Dragon Country's most mysterious, Myth Special Forces will make their first public appearance and participate in the military parade. At this moment, countless netizens from Dragon Country and other countries around the world were all stunned speechless. The country has been way too high profile these past few days. Their series of moves have shocked Blue Star countless times, and now they're rolling out the Myth Special Forces. Is this the same special force whose members ripped cars apart with their bare hands in eagle sauce? Unlike the super excited citizens of Dragon Country, the blonde guy in the White House, Donald was almost fuming with rage. Shit. What the hell are those agents we pay even doing? They got no intel at all on something this important. Even the media on the street got more info than those losers do. Can someone tell me, what the hell is this force planning to do? Facing the president's questions, all the military personnel in the office looked at each other, all pretending they didn't hear a thing. Amid this super tense atmosphere, in the dorm of Dongfeng Basi, you were quietly waiting for midnight to come. This would be the last time you faced this myth game head-on. 12 a.m. September 2nd, Dragon Country calendar. As the bell tolled, an ancient, grand voice came from your phone. Dear Chen Xuan, the only closed beta player on Blue Star. Thank you for your company during this time. Please leave a review for the Myth closed beta game now. Your mouth twitched. How come this game is as naggy as the 186 customer service against your true will? You still gave it 5 stars across the board. Thank you for your review. Given your high recognition of our game, we'll share a few insider tips with you. Tip 1. Myth Era will descend on Blue Star at 12 p.m. sharp. There will be no warning before it arrives. Tip 2. Mythical beasts in the Myth Era are not all evil. You can try to communicate and form alliances with them. Tip 3. There are not only mythical beasts in the Myth Era, but also extremely powerful foreign races, and they only see humans as food. Tip 4. The foreign races will not descend for 1 month, so hurry up and get stronger. As the last word faded, lightning flashed and thunder roared on the game interface. Then a bright flash of light swept across, and the game was gone without a trace. You were instantly panic-stricken. You won't even let me buy this gift pack. I still need to top up for in-game purchases. But the phone no longer gave any response at all. Right after that, the surrounding air quickly condensed. Endless power spread out from the void. Then it swarmed straight towards you. Your body floated in midair, shining with bright and dazzling light. Under the powerful power fluctuation, everything in the dormitory was reduced to fine powder. Even the adjacent rooms were shattered by the shock. Smoke and dust filled the air. Broken stones flew everywhere. Even the underground base built with special metal couldn't withstand this wave of fluctuation. It was shaking and on the verge of collapse. Luckily, everyone was busy in the faraway work area, so no casualties were caused at all. Naturally, such a huge commotion caught the attention of all the base members. The first to arrive were members of the Myth Special Forces. But as soon as they got close, they felt a strong, oppressive aura. It pressed down on them like a giant boulder. Even though they had already reached level 50, they were trembling uncontrollably under this oppressive aura. That's the Bureau Chief's room. Is the Bureau Chief awakening his profession? Oh my god, this power is way too terrifying. All the Special Ops members were completely dumbfounded. They stared at the direction of the room with shock all over their faces. The next person to rush over was Lin Junye. He glanced at the surrounding members and shouted loudly. All Special Ops members disperse around the perimeter. Set up a defensive formation immediately. Prevent power diffusion from causing the underground base to collapse. Yes, the order was received. The team members immediately unleashed their power. They constructed a huge light shield, completely covering the distant ruins inside it. Seeing this, Lin Jianye finally breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at Lin Tong, who was also level 50 beside him, and asked, Xiao Tong, if you fought against the Bureau Chief, how many moves can you withstand from him? Hearing this, a bitter smile appeared on Lin Tong's delicate face. You think way too highly of me. Judging from the power the Bureau Chief is bursting with right now, even if the entire Myth Special Forces team up, they probably can't even make the Bureau Chief use both hands. And you, in the distant ruins, are being wrapped tightly in golden light. Countless sword art profundities flooded into your mind. Majestic power is constantly transforming your body. Both your bone density and your physical strength have increased countless times over. Then the exclusive divine weapon set you bought appeared one after another. and put itself on you automatically. With a loud booming sound, a figure soared into the sky from the ruins, suspended steadily in midair. This scene stunned everyone present on the spot. Standing next to Lin Jianye, Lin Tong's beautiful eyes were even glowing with amazement. Her heart was thumping wildly in her chest. She stared at you floating in midair infatuatedly. She was almost completely smitten with you. I saw a majestic and domineering golden armor covering your entire body. A red-gold longsword with dragon patterns circled around you. Your whole body was glowing with a faint, bright sheen. Countless sword shadows emerged behind your back. You looked like a sword immortal descending to the mortal world at this moment, amidst the extreme shock of everyone present. You slowly retracted your aura, floated down gently to the ground, stood steadily in front of Lin Jianye and Lin Tong. I didn't control my strength properly just now. Do I need to pay for the damage stuff? As soon as these words came out, Lin Tong couldn't hold back at once. She almost spit out her soda. The special ops members also burst out laughing. The relaxed atmosphere at this moment almost made people think the apocalypse was fake. Then the group escorted you to the training hall. On the high platform, you looked down at the members standing straight. You pondered for a moment and said in a loud voice, "I have formed a Myth Mobile Special Ops Squad with the codename Xixiao. It temporarily has 68 legendary profession awakeners, including Xia Pingwu. Xixiao will be the elite of the elite in the Myth Special Forces. It's responsible for quick rescue, coordination, guarding the Imperial capital, and other duties. The rest of the members, after the press conference tomorrow ends, will immediately be divided into 34 teams. Rush to the prevention zones to assist with garrison duty." Received. Loud voices echoed throughout the entire hall. No one raised any question. No one hesitated at all. All they had were fiery hot gazes full of determination. Because you at present have already become the power of faith in their hearts. No one slept tonight. Everyone was preparing for the dawn. Including you, of course. This time you personally sit in the Imperial Capital Command Center to coordinate the overall plan, even though you desperately want to break through to the King Realm with the Enlightenment cushion. But there's not enough time left. After all, in the early days of the Myth Era's arrival, the entire Dragon Nation needs you to guard it. You absolutely don't dare to choose to seclude yourself for cultivation. All preparations were completed. It was already 5:30 in the morning. You gave an order. A full 1,800 awakeners marched in neat and uniform steps, boarded the special transport vehicles heading to the Imperial capital. The sun rose in the east. At 7 a.m., students no longer go to school. The aunties who usually hang out in the square are nowhere to be seen. The whole street is completely empty. All citizens of the Dragon Country, no matter men, women, old or young, all turned on their TVs and computers, waiting right next to the screens. The local Great Hall has been fully set up. Attendees are entering in an orderly manner. A few minutes later, except for the 2 front rows of seats for leaders, the otherwise empty Great Hall was fully packed. Then the high-level cabinet members of Dragon Country, including the staff of Myth Special Bureau led by you, of course, also entered the hall one after another. The press conference officially begins. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Chief Number 1 stepped onto the high platform. He said in a solemn, sacred, and loud voice, "Comrades, good morning, fellow compatriots. I believe you've all heard something about recent events. We've implemented some great national policies. First of all, I'd like to thank the entire Dragon Country people for your support of the country's work." Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Then Chief Number 1 raised his hand to signal for silence and continued to speak. "The Dragon Country and even the entire Blue Planet will face an unprecedented great change. And in this great change, we've made full and complete preparations. I hope that no matter what happens next, everyone stays calm and don't panic. Trust the country. Trust the government. Trust the soldiers of Dragon Country. Dragon Country has a long history of 5,000 years. We've survived all kinds of major disasters. This time will be no exception." As soon as he finished, everyone in the hall stood up and applauded. Next, let's invite the Dragon Country Myth Special Bureau, Director Chen sent to give a speech to everyone. Right after that, Chief Number 1 stepped down the platform and returned to his seat. When he passed by you, he even gave you an encouraging look. Seeing that, your heart almost jumped out of your chest. Even though your physique and combat power have improved countless times, and you've been the director for 7 days already, you still couldn't hold back your excitement inside. Down there are all the national representatives, and this is broadcast live to the entire Blue Planet. You forcefully suppressed the surging excitement in your heart. In your sharp outfit, you slowly walked up to the high platform. This is the first public appearance of you as the director. Your handsome, dashing figure made all the women in front of TVs and computers blushing like crazy. Oh my God, is the Myth Special Bureau director that young? He's so hot. I can't take it anymore. I want to have 8 babies with him. Right now, you on the high platform are feeling great honor at the same time, also a little breathless under the heavy responsibility. Hello, comrades. I'm Chen Xuan, director of the Myth Special Bureau. Most of you are seeing me for the first time, but in the days to come, you'll probably see me quite often. Everyone was confused by this remark, but the cabinet members who knew the inside story, your parents and others, all fell silent. They all knew how much responsibility and danger was hidden in your words. Poor kid. He's only in his 20s, but he has to bear the heavy burden of protecting the whole dragon country. Amid everyone's confusion, you spoke again a week ago. The Otherworld detector, built with all efforts by Dragon Country Academy of Sciences, accidentally detected during an experiment that an Otherworld called me.A is about to invade the blue planet. After careful testing and experiments, the Academy of Sciences finally confirmed that this is true. At 12 noon today, the space-time channel from the me.A Otherworld to the blue planet will open. This set of statements is the explanation decided after discussion by the senior management. The uninformed attendees were dumbfounded when they heard this. They came to such a grand meeting and expected the country to announce shocking news. But this is way too absurd, isn't it? The Dragon Country people in front of TVs were also dumbfounded. Although the Dragon Country internet team has recently been instilling the idea of resisting the apocalypse and doing psychological counseling, but when they really heard the official statement, they were still extremely shocked. Leaders of other hostile countries on Blue Planet were also dumbfounded. Did I hear that right? Bringing up such a topic on an occasion like this, as ridiculous as another world invasion. The Dragon Country people really spent a lot to fool us, huh? You continued speaking on the high platform. This me.A invasion is a crisis, but also a huge opportunity. At that time, the Blue Planet will have a spiritual energy resurgence. Humans can awaken all kinds of professions and gain powerful abilities. The hall fell completely silent. Everyone was stunned by your words. No way! The country made us believe in science our whole lives. And now you're basically calling me a fellow cultivator. I believe everyone has already seen. We've made full preparations these days. Next, please everyone move to Diamond Square to review together with people across the country the strongest myth special force of Dragon Country. Special reminder, every member of this team of ours is a professional awakener. As soon as you finished, you step down the high platform, head to the back area to put on the battle armor. Everyone in the hall couldn't calm down for a long time. Your last remark was like pouring cold water into a boiling pot of oil. The internet blew up right away. Ugh, I'm too uneducated for fancy words. All I can say is holy shit the whole time. I ain't got nothing else to say. Dragon Country is invincible. Meanwhile, guided by the staff, attendees went up to the Dianmen City wall one after another. But when they looked around, except for the armed personnel on duty on the square, they didn't see any troops at all. Just then, Lin Jianye in armor trotted over from below the stage, stood at attention, saluted, and shouted, "Myth Special Forces are all lined up and ready. Awaiting your orders, sir." "Proceed." Chief Number 1 gestured with a raise of his hand. Yes, in the next instant, the loud and solemn national anthem started playing. Figures came flying through the air from the distant horizon. Their silver armors glistened brightly under the sunlight. A powerful aura burst out from all of them. This is the newly established Chixiao Special Formation. They stood in perfect formation above the square. The whole sky was filled with the glint of blades. Everyone was dumbfounded at this sight. Suddenly, a muffled thunder-like roar exploded over the imperial capital. Right after that, a dazzling pillar of light fell from the sky. Clad in golden battle armor, the awe-inspiring you stood proudly inside the pillar of light. 100-meter-long sword shadow flickered faintly behind you. This scene looked like a god descending to Earth. Even though there hasn't been an actual battle yet, the power you all have displayed is more than enough to keep the people safe and secure. The press conference concluded successfully at 10 o'clock sharp, but its impact was earth-shattering. It not only deterred those who wanted to profit from the national crisis, but also built up confidence among the public. Now that the goal is achieved, members of the Myth Special Forces were divided into 34 teams and immediately headed to their respective defense zones for garrison duty. You and the Chixiao team are stationed at the Imperial Capital Defense Zone to oversee overall operations. 11:30 a.m., sharp and loud sirens blared across the entire territory of Dragon Country. The entire nation entered Level 1 combat readiness status. Tanks, fighter jets, warships were all loaded with ammo and ready to go. Nuclear warheads hidden across the country, and their silos were quietly opened. Even the police dogs were well fed and watered and fully prepared for action. When the big clock on the Imperial Capital Tower of Dragon Country had all its hands pointing right at the center position, the sky seemed to be sliced open by a sharp blade, as a huge dark crack slowly opened up. Right after that, black mist poured down like a river from the heavens. Then huge shadowy figures broke free from the crack and scattered all across the blue star.